I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life.
So, I was at the doctor the other day, and, the nurse comes in, she's taking my blood pressure.
All right.
And it was good. It was like 125/80 or something like that.
That's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I mean, I've dropped it considerably over the last, 6
What was
months.
the highest that it was ever for you?
150 something over like 90 something?
That's not, I mean, obviously, I've seen it higher. Like, everyone's got it way worse.
I was always kind of, and I think, I was always kind of in that area where they were like, well, if you don't make some changes, son, you're going to have to be on meds the rest of your life. And I'm like, well, that's not going to fucking happen. I'm
the
gonna
veiled
fix this
meds
shit
for the rest of your
another way.
life threat.
So then the nurse goes, well, she goes, that's pretty good, And I was like, well, that's really good. What are you talking about? And she goes, well, the whatever health they've just dropped the ideal blood pressure.
The American
by
Heart
10.
Association has lowered the national standard or the ideal gold standard for the blood pressure.
So I'm like, what, how, why? Like, she goes, I really don't know. Because honestly, it's like 110 over what? 110 over 70 now?
They say that if you are at the gold standard for as long as I can remember, was 120/80. But they say that now if you're at 120/80, you're pre-hypertensive. And I said, dude, I thought that's ridiculous. You were golden.
That's crap. I'm thinking, dude, big pharma conspiracy theory here. They're just trying to sell more meds.
Whoa.
Am
so
I way
you're
off base
going,
there, Steve?
Wait, you guys are going above.
That's the first thing I saw. That's the first thing I thought, dude.
You guys are going above. It's not even just like you think it's just like, oh, maybe we want this for America's betterment or the health of America. You guys are going big pharma is orchestrating.
Exactly where we're going. Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, I want to hear it.
Because Steven, is there something that I know this isn't a conspiracy theory podcast, but I mean
we just made it into
yes, we did. Is there something that's happened recently that would lead you to believe that somebody with a 120/80 blood pressure has any reason to worry about anything?
Now you're springing this on me. I haven't really given this too much thought. I don't.
Yeah, because that's not the topic today. This is just us rambling pre-topic.
The topic today was My Little Ponies, and we're talking.
Steve is a brony, and we were going to have an intervention.
Yeah.
Even if you have good blood pressure, you're potentially pre-hypertensive.
You're pre-hypertensive on okay.
Technically, JB, little JC is pre-hypertensive. I mean, that pre-hypertensive doesn't mean anything. It means you could possibly develop
that's what I'm saying. It is that wording is very vague.
It's trying to get you motivated to either lose weight or maybe, as you guys are alluding to, maybe take their sweet, sweet, sweet new blood pressure drug.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what blood pressure drug came out either slightly before or slightly after that.
Well, or there might not be a new one. Maybe they need more people to be taking their drugs so they can
blood thinners
they can show their growth numbers for the quarters.
That is true. I mean, like Chris Rock's joke. I mean, for God's sakes, the money's not in the cure. The money's in the medications. Like that's what it is. It's in the treatment. It's in everything else. So,
well, and the sad, dirty, disgusting truth is that on some level, some of them. I'm sure some companies, dude, I work in the medical industry, and there's a lot of companies that want to do good things, but at the same time, like a lot of these companies that sell these drugs that are ongoing, they need people to use their drugs.
They're
sad but true.
So we've gone way off the rails here.
No, I like it.
So
it allows me to open
eliminate
up my mind.
having to take blood pressure medication, one must work out.
Exercise? Oh my god. That was
another
a
seamless
segue
transition
from freaking
to the
Valhalla
topic of the
there.
day.
Wow,
so Steve and I were doing some workout.
I'm a Viking.
Steve and I were working out earlier today. Steve got these sweet boxing mitts.
Yep.
So I was like punching Steve's boxing mitts. I think we need to work on it.
We do.
I might have accidentally punched Steve in the face. But,
No, it's all good, man. I'm as tough
it wasn't
as
that hard.
nails.
I watched Rocky this morning.
There you go. See, JB's ready. JB's got some. He's got a trip to Philadelphia planned. He's going to go up the
I was just
stairs.
gonna say that'd be a really long trip for me to come box with you guys because, I could swing, and then next time I see you, hit you. And that would,
Right.
A delayed.
Yeah,
swipe.
total
So
delay.
A delayed right uppercut.
As JB mentioned today, our topic is exercise. I
love it.
Kind of like our diet episode you hopefully probably listened to last. We're going to kind of talk about the vague, overarching topic of exercise. And we'll probably dig into some different exercises and exercising and different workouts, different schools of thought. But I think that will eventually... Those
I like
will all
jazzercise.
become their own efforts. JB does like jazzercise. He has some Richard Simmons videos I saw him watching, and he was wearing
Dude,
some
sweating
of
to
those
the
short
oldies,
shorts.
man. Don't knock it.
Sweating to
Don't.
the oldies. But hey, dude, if you're sweating, then you're doing all right. So,
That's right.
Honestly,
no problem with that.
when I do my water aerobics, I don't know if I'm sweating or not. But
So I think first and
cool.
foremost, I don't know that we need to talk about the value of exercise, but I guess we will. Stephen Chang, you're the nurse. You see people come in all the time that probably could exercise more. You want to talk about why exercise is important?
and I gotta be honest with you, it's probably one of the most paramount things. A lot of people, do the time where they think, oh, if I do it for 30 minutes every single day, I'll be good, I'll be fine, or I can eat what I want, drink what I want, and do all that other stuff. And maybe some people are lucky. Maybe some people do have that gift. Some people don't, exercise, and it's all about being awake, moving around, getting that body walking and talking and strolling. I mean, that's I always have felt that a lot of people just don't do enough of that. We do live in a sedentary lifestyle, a sedentary culture with a sedentary lifestyle. People have office jobs now, and, you're sitting down for 6 hours a day, 5 hours a day,
Yeah, it's
maybe
not
even
natural.
8 hours a day. Yeah, it's maybe not even natural, and you're on the phones, and you go back home, and what do? You hop on the good old iPad, get on that internet's machine, look up some more stuff. Maybe you try and sneak in the gym 30 minutes a day. Whatever you can sneak in, I'm proud of you. But sometimes maybe you just need to be, just kind of be more active or be more, create more movement throughout the day. And I do see a lot of people kind of suffer the end results of a sedentary lifestyle, and it really kind of stinks. You're talking about cardiovascular disease, just a
Diabetes.
muscle tone, diabetes. You're talking about not the eventual. I don't see too much atrophy, but overall, you will see the eventual atrophy of your muscle tone and your abilities. And honestly, I don't know, the considerable weight gain that you get if you do stop moving. It all kind of is related. It all is kind of correlated. So.
Well, yeah. Then there's the dark path of you stop moving and then you gain weight and then you gain too much weight to move. I caught a few minutes of one of those shows. I don't know, My 600-Pound Life or something. This woman, I don't know how much she weighed, but she hadn't been out of bed in like 3 years.
Probably 600 pounds at least.
I guess I don't know. There was another dude and he was like almost 1,000 pounds and he was walking. Don't know how that worked.
How do
but
you walk?
It was interesting. But I mean, that's
you
not
probably
what
got
we're
a lot of muscle under there, considering
probably, yeah. And then you
Oh,
got
if you have to lift
like,
up 1,000 pounds, yeah.
well, that's extreme. But you get the fat guy calves that I'm sure JP and I both have.
Yeah,
just
fat guy calves.
just for walking around with all that. You carried around a lot, so you got you get nice calves, and then you got to lose a little bit of weight, and then you show them off. But I think like Steve hit it on the head. I mean, you have to exercise, you have to move. Now there's obviously 1,000 different ways to do it. We could talk about CrossFit and lifting and such, but I think at the core of it, if nothing else, if you're just walking around, they say 10,000 steps a day. I think that's a good benchmark. It's if you do a little bit at a time, it's really not that hard to do. So, I mean, that's what we're prescribing here. You should definitely work out a little bit. And if nothing else, just try and, go get your steps in, go move around. My mom just got a treadmill so she can just walk while she's, watching some TV or getting some stuff done. And not that my mom has a problem with that. She exercises a lot, but, it's
Honestly,
just,
even
it's
just
easy.
getting like a stand-up desk at work.
Yeah,
I know that's been a huge thing. My wife has an office job, and a lot of her coworkers, they have the desks that raise up so you can stand there, and you're not, you're it aids in circulation, and obviously it's not really exercise, but you're not sitting there being extremely
no, but you
lethargic the whole
stand.
time.
Then I saw something that was like a treadmill desk. That sounds
Yeah.
it seems a little extreme, and good luck getting your company to buy into
desk.
that. But But yeah, just stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. Or if you're in an office, get up and go walk down the hall or whatever if you have a break.
Or just clench your butt cheeks in the chair.
Pretty soon,
your male
they're going to
Kegels.
invent the Chairmaster. Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. Chairmaster.
If you can
Brought to
kind
you
of
by
do some
brought to you by
movement,
Project Reclamation.
if you have some movement throughout your day and you kind of are a little more conscientious about it, I feel as though there are small little benefits, maybe little small tiny benefits that you don't necessarily. Oh, I don't have a 6-pack. I mean, I'll never get me a 6-pack if I just walk to the watering station every other hour. But still, I think beyond that, you got to think on that very very microscopic microvasculature level. I'm certainly sure.
Easy there,
does help
Turbo.
You will stave off deep vein thrombosis.
Later, DBT.
But seriously,
sounds like a
one thing I
metal
want to talk
band.
about is exercise
what?
versus training. I know that JB and we were athletes most of our younger lives, football, wrestling, track and field, although all that we did was really throw the shot put, so I don't really know if that counts.
And
But
I was
Played
the
baseball
assistant
for like 2
equipment
years. It was a
oh yeah,
disaster.
JB played a little bit of baseball. So I guess my point is, at that time, and any of you who played sports, I'm sure there's a lot of you, you had to work out, and not only did you have to work out, but you didn't have a choice. I mean, it was prescribed. So 2 hours a day, at least once a day. When we were playing football, JB and we had people telling us what to do, and then we had to probably go to the weight room after that and do that. So when you're training for something, especially if you have a prescribed routine, then it's easy, or maybe not easy, but I mean it's easy to follow because you don't really have a choice. I know Steve. I don't think you were really involved in sports.
I mean, I got a letter in band for the saxophone.
But
Hey, March,
and
I guess
band
my
did
point is-
count as
but-
a
but
PE
Steve,
requirement.
you've done a lot of like half marathons and marathons.
Oh,
so you had to do your own. You had to come up with your own program, but you were training for something.
I was the ultimate late bloomer, y'all. Like, I did not do very much in high school on the athletics front. And then after college, I would say I didn't even do very, very much even then. But I think I was around maybe 2021, and I had seen my sister for the first time run a full marathon, and I said, F that. My sister has traditionally had the same kind of physical gifts that I do, which aren't very many. And I said, if she can do that, I can do that. And I literally bought a pair of shoes. And I just said, well, hell, I'm just going to start running around the block. And one block became 2 times around the block. And 2 times around the block became, well, why don't I just go sign up for the LA Marathon? I'm already there. and that was pretty much the birth
The natural
of,
progression. 2
of all
blocks.
this. Yeah,
let's
absolutely.
do the marathon.
I like to bite off way more than I can chew, and I think it's been a successful route.
I
for me,
admire that
but-
about you.
Yeah, you know what?
Straight
I'm
into
like,
the deep end.
I know. That president job seems really, really pretty good. It seems like
Yeah.
a good gig. Let me go.
You get a
and
free
roll-
house?
Yeah, let me go and roll in my local assembly, and then by next year I should be in the White House.
So when JB and I's sports ended, or Steve, you haven't done a marathon in a while, from my calculations.
I did one 2 years ago.
Okay. So when you don't have something to train for, you have to exercise still, but there's less motivation, correct?
Wait, absolutely. There is less.
Okay.
Less motivation,
So that being said, I would say that, I don't know about these two guys, but I certainly recommend, if it helps you, if having something to train for helps you, go sign up for a half marathon. Or if you're not there, sign up for a 5K.
Just
sign
a
up for
5K,
walking
dude.
5K.
Yeah, you don't need to go.
Sign up for anything. If you're a little bit more advanced, sign up for a mud run or a Spartan run. A lot of those you can do with teams, and that's a lot of fun. So that's probably something that we should do, now that I think about it. But that's definitely an option. I mean, there's so many different group runs, group activities, group obstacle courses, or just single things. So it gives us more opportunity to kind of create that training aspect versus just kind of exercise to exercise. But JB, talk a little bit about, not having something to train for, not being, having to go to football practice once or twice a day. Where do you get motivation to work out? Physical
I
stuff?
don't. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
It's it's tough, man. It is really tough. It was doubly tough for me because my job required me to travel a great deal. So I would always want to sign up for like the Spartan run or, stuff like that. One of those fun kind of team type things, but I could never do it because my schedule wouldn't permit it. I couldn't,
This is
plan
actually
in
true.
advance.
I've actually told you, I was like, hey man, let's go run that rock and roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Nashville. And you
We've
were
talked
like,
about
I'm
it
gonna be
for
away.
probably 5 years now, and I've just never been able to do it. But
And every single time you were away, it's like, yeah, work gets in the
So-
way, y'all.
I've found motivation through other people. A few of the guys I traveled with, we called them gym rats. They're just super motivated. They ate well, they worked out every day. So I would just kind of try.
Boone, he's talking about you. In case you want to come on our show.
Yeah, boom, talking about you, buddy, you and Matt. I would try and ride on their coattails, just sort of let their, kind of infectious motivation try and, motivate me. And it worked. I wasn't able to go with them all the time, but I would, go, and they would accommodate me with their schedule and stuff like that. So that's really how I got motivated to work out. And when I was home, I would try and maintain that because you don't want to be the guy that's holding everybody back. So I would try and keep up my physical training and stuff like that when I was home, and go back out on the road and work out with them. But that's pretty much how I would do it. It's difficult though.
It is difficult, and I mean, I think surprise, surprise, this topic is going to tie right back into motivation, and it's going to tie right back into support structure. I mean, I think that you used Boone and Matt and your buddies that were with you that had that motivation to kind of ride their coattails. I think whether you're riding someone's coattails or not, or maybe you have two people who are kind of at the same place where you both want to work out, but motivation is a little lacking. I mean, I think having a workout buddy, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but it means a lot. And then you guys can hold each other accountable, like, hey, Steve, Steve and I, we've started working out recently together. And it's like, if we make a plan that I have to meet Steve at his place or at the gym at X o'clock, then, we have to do it. I mean, you're accountable, so you can't let down your buddy. So I think that's one thing, but also, you just got to do it. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Like if you can only fit in 10 minutes before work, then go do 10 minutes worth of walking, or go jump on an elliptical for 10 minutes, or take your dog for a long walk. I mean, when we're talking about just pure fitness and just health benefits, everything counts. So, I mean, if you do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, that's going to help. If we're talking about, getting in better shape and losing weight, then yeah, you need to do a little bit more. But again, everything helps. And, it would be better for you to fit in 10 minutes 3 times a day than to not work out at all, because you're like, oh, but I don't have 30 minutes. Like I'm too busy. I mean, you could say you're too busy all the time, but you really, just like everything we're going to talk about, if you want to make changes and you want to improve your life, you have to get off your ass and you have to take that first step. We're here to help you. And I'm sure you have your support structure, or if not, use us. But, it comes down to you. You have to make that decision, and you have to create that drive. And then, we can help you along the way, and we can help you get there. We can help you kind of take that first step, but ultimately you have to take that first step, and your worst enemy and your biggest roadblock is going to be yourself. And I mean, that's something you have to overcome.
For me, it was kind of getting like scared into it. As I get older, you go to the doctor and, talking about like blood pressure and stuff like that. My blood pressure is a little bit, it wasn't anything, completely detrimental to my health, but, you start thinking about, oh God, this, fear of diabetes and all this stuff. And that also motivates me. I have the power now to keep myself from getting those conditions, I can lower my blood pressure, diet and exercise, it's right there in front of you. You just got to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you had a little bit of a scare. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but, you had an instance regarding something like that was sort of close to you. So
I did.
Yeah. We'll talk about that another
We'll
time.
talk about that a long time.
So when you start, you get older, you start to see these things happen around you, or you go to the doctor and the doctor wants to put you on blood pressure meds or whatever. It's a wake up, or you spend a lot of time in hospitals like Steve or like I have, and you see these people who have just let themselves go, or not really let themselves go, but they have these issues. And if there's anything you could do to kind of stave off those issues, then you want to do it. I mean, we have the power, especially now in our 30s or in our if you're in your 40s or even in your 50s. I mean, like I said, both my parents lost a bunch of weight when they were in their late 40s, and I think that they have enjoyed better lifestyle and just
it's quality of life.
I mean, they were running. My parents never ran a race in their lives. Now they're running half marathons and stuff in their into their 50s, and I mean they're more active now than they ever were when I was a kid. So I mean, beyond like normal daily activity stuff. So I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's motivating to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are some different, if we're going to get into workouts, actual workouts, what are some different workouts, different schools of thought? I mean, you have your old school just kind of running and doing cardio and then lifting.
High school gym calisthenics.
Exactly. You have so many options, and just like diet, I mean, whatever's going to work is what's going to work for you. Now, obviously, if you're trying to figure out, how to train for a certain thing, or if you're trying to build a certain muscles, then we have to get a little bit more specific. But in general, if we're just talking about fitness or weight loss or just getting in better shape, I mean, anything that works for you is going to be the best. So maybe some people I hate like long workouts. Like I can't do it. I don't have time for it. So I mean, I don't love the cult that is CrossFit, but I do love CrossFit type workouts. So like I've done a lot of the CrossFit type workouts, with a lot of body weight stuff and kind of incorporating cardio and some strength training into the same thing. I mean, that works for me. JB, Steve, you guys Steve, you have your own thing.
Well, I was just going to say, like, honestly, we live in such a great time where I don't know when it was, I was born in the 80s, and it was just like physical fitness and this fitness industry started kind of taking off. And then by the 90s, everyone had a certain look, like six-pack abs or something like that. And then I think in the early 2000s, like we've seen so many different changes and so many different additions to the physical fitness world. And whether that be, I know, like the surge of even just running, just what I know of a little bit. There have been so many different types of runs, but even JB, you touched on it, man. There's Spartan races, there's mud races, there's all sorts of challenge obstacle course races now. So it's not just, hey, man, and even if you like to run or even if you like to do like endurance type stuff, then we have this type of endurance stuff. We have a color run, even something like that will kind of get you up and going. And then you're talking about like fitness programs. I mean, I know there's always like that high intensity impact training or something like that, but now you have
workouts.
Yeah, now you have CrossFit, and I know CrossFit's been around for a little bit, but still, even then, you have Soul Cycle. You have so many different types of different fitness programs, and if you really, if you're nervous about like exercising kind of just gives me the creeps, or I'm just no good at it, or I haven't been good at it in high school. I was so embarrassed because my body wasn't where I wanted it to be, and I just never spent some time in the high school gym, or every single time whenever I get a gym membership, there's just too many people at that gym. It's always so crowded, and I just feel like everyone's looking at me because of the fishbowl. Man, you don't have to do any of that. There's something for you out there. If you want to try something different, there's something out there that is different for you. And I think it's just such a great time to want to be physically fit. And then there's so many people, including myself, that are such big believers in just, training people, getting people out there, getting people to be better selves than they were yesterday.
We should put links to some of these races and stuff up on the website.
No, for sure.
Yeah, we should definitely. Future sponsor, Spartan Races.
Yeah,
we always love the rock and roll marathon.
We're having
rock and roll.
Throw up your link. And Steve is a bit of an aspiring personal trainer. He's been training me. What I like about Steve is he's not just like, okay, do three sets of this on the bench.
I get down and dirty with you, man.
We do, man. And honestly, I have a gym membership. So I think Steve has a gym membership, but we do 90% of our workouts at parks, beaches, and in Steve's garage.
Dude,
so like Steve said, dude, if you don't like the gym, it's too crowded, it's too intimidating, whatever it is, you don't have to work out at the gym. I mean, you can go, you can honestly, you can do nothing. You could buy nothing and go to a park. I mean, there's plenty of parks. Just Google it. There's parks with, monkey bars and pull-up bars and dip stuff. And there's a lot of different ones. There's even parks that have stations where you can run around and do the, you run whatever, an eighth of a mile. And then
do you know how I started it, man? I mean, I look at it and I'm just telling you guys, like, I'll go to a parking lot and I'll see one of those cement, concrete, little like borders or barriers, or, your car, if it just kind of pulls up to it, like, it can't go any further. It's like that little speed bump. And I'll take a look at that speed bump and I'll say, look, you can do 7 exercises on this bad boy right away. You know what I mean? And you can see something like that, just a simple thing that maybe like a step, and people just walk on it every day, Or you can see that as maybe you're like a little elevation for you to do a push-up on, or maybe you can keep on, it's like a place where you can do calf raises. I mean, there's so many different options, and that's just a single step. So it's all around you if you really, really have that in you. If you can't get inspired by something, or if you can't get inspired by going to the gym, talk to me. I'll get you inspired about that one little cinder block in your front yard that's been sitting out there.
Train you.
And I'll train
Steve
you.
will train you via Skype.
Yeah.
Well, and
Skype
just body
training,
weight
Steve.
exercises too. I mean,
body weight,
if you're a big dude, that's a lot of weight that you push around.
Yeah. And I'm a big guy, and I do, I have some kettlebells, and I do some dumbbell work and some weight work. But I mean, honestly, for me right now, since I'm not, I'm not trying to train for a bodybuilding competition or anything. I mean, I love body weight exercises. I mean, I could get by. I have some TRX cables. I just go to a park or whatever, go down and find a tree.
Push-ups and squats.
Push-ups, squats, some pull-ups, and then, some sit-ups, and you're good to go. I mean, you do those. Dude, one of my favorite workouts, my go-to workout of all time is literally throw up. I can't do 50 pull-ups, but, I throw the TRX cables up on something. I do 50 fake pull-ups, run 400 meters, do 50 push-ups, run 400 meters, do 50 sit-ups, run 400 meters, 50 squats, run 400 meters. You did a mile, you did 50 of each of those exercises, and it's golden. And that's a great go-to workout. But that doesn't have to be what you do. I mean, you can work out, like Steve said, this is the golden time, and it's a time when anything can be a gym. Like Steve can find a gym in a parking lot. I can find a gym at a park. There's, it doesn't matter what city you live in. I'm sure there's some stuff around somewhere. Go find, obviously do it at the right time, but, there's got to be parks with like playgrounds and stuff, wait till the kids are done using the playground and stuff, but,
get out the jungle gym.
Use the monkey bars to set up your TRX cables, or do some pull-ups or, whatever it may be. Or, if you want to do it at your own home, set up some stuff in your garage, or just go buy some Beachbody videos or whatever, P90X,
dude, once again,
T25, Insanity.
Dude, Tony Horton's 10-minute trainer, dude. I mean, you really want to start out, that's a great way to, you can start out with 10 minutes, and then that's the whole thing behind that, is that you can just add on another 10 once you start advancing. And then once you get done with that whole thing, you can go on to the max 30,
Yep.
T25.
There's so much stuff out there, y'all. There is so much stuff. You can pop on YouTube, and heck, you don't even have a DVD player. You don't have you don't have money for Insanity or whatever. That's fine. It's honestly, I will tell you this: if you have a TV, if you don't even have a TV, if you have YouTube, if you have just a favorite TV show that you like to listen to, or, watch, or if you even have a radio program that you like to listen to, and you want to do some body weight exercises, heck, I don't have a gym membership, but I don't have enough money. If you want to do some push-ups, if you want to do some just squats, just lifting your own body weight, and you go, oh, well, how's that going to do it? How am I going to build it? I guarantee you, I'm just so excited about this. It's just coming out of me, man.
Steve's so excited.
I'm so excited about
got
it.
phlegm.
My phlegm is just going. No, but I guarantee you, it's like you do. Oh, okay. Like, well, maybe you do 100 push-ups in a 30-minute program. You're watching, I don't know, the 30-minute news at night or something like that, and you're able to kind of just do push-ups while you're doing it. You say, I'm just going to keep on going at my pace. I'll just kind of do as many push-ups as I can in this 30-minute news program. I guarantee you're going to be feeling sore the next day. You're going to experience that workout. Or while you're just sitting there, like as you're cooking and you're waiting for your whatever to kind of boil, your water to boil, just do some squats in between then and there.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, in those small little moments where you can kind of create some time and you can just kind of rip out some simple body weight exercises, you'll feel it the next day, and then it all adds up. It all adds up.
So, Steve, if you were walking through a park or you're on like a hike or whatever, and you saw a rock, could you do something with that rock?
Oh, hell yeah, I could. What couldn't you do with that rock? Oh man, depends on the way. I mean, that's the best part even about nature. Different pounds, different sizes, different grips, right? So go ahead and just pick up that rock. Even if you can lift up that rock, can you lift up that rock? You know, maybe that's a good. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can't even lift up that rock.
Maybe you just roll it.
Yeah, maybe you just roll, or heck, put your feet on it and start doing some push-ups, or even some, you know, it's just, or lift it up. You can do some squats with it, you know, as a
I like it.
as
Goblet squats.
yeah, as an inversion. Instead of using kettlebell, you just grab that out. And then maybe if you're safe enough, please be safe enough, okay? Start lifting it over your head. Maybe you do.
Yes, please don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, please don't. Make sure you got a good grip on it. Start lifting over your head, man. Work out your delts, you know, work out your traps, work out your triceps. You know, heck, even if you just roll it, right? Even the sheer act of you squatting, getting in that low position.
It's like the you know, the tire flips.
Absolutely. Or or even just fucking, you know, I'm sorry, just pick it up and start tossing it, you know?
So speaking of rocks, I think it might be time for our motivational quote from our friend Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. What
Love
do you
this.
guys think?
I know it's time.
All right.
I like
it. Here we go.
The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock says.
All right. So our motivational quote today from our friend Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The Rock, if you're listening, shout out to you. You're a big inspiration to us. Today's quote: "Be humble, be hungry, and always be the hardest worker in the room." So to me, this one kind of resonated with working out. I think it obviously translates to just life in general. Be humble, be hungry. But I mean, always be the hardest worker in the room. And I mean, that can translate to so many different things, but for sure in the gym. And like Steve said, maybe you just, maybe you work out by yourself. So you just have to work out harder than yourself. You look in the mirror, there's your competition. Competition's always you. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there, but you're always your competition. So just be the hardest worker in the room and stay humble and stay hungry. And I mean, I think that's a great prescription for life.
I always try and tell myself this, like every single time, like be better than you were yesterday. Okay. And that doesn't mean that you were a terrible person yesterday. That doesn't mean you did everything wrong.
Be better.
But yeah, if you just go back and even if you do that same routine,
you do one more rep.
Yeah, even if you do the same routine, you go like, oh, I did 3 sets of 10. Well, make that last one 11. Just pull one up one more time. I mean, if that's the most basic thing you can do, or at least hell, if you do the same exact routine, be in that right mindset. Well, I was at least in a better mindset today, and I was more focused today than I was yesterday. It can be as simple as that, or it can be, you know, I did a whole lot crazier workout. I lifted X amount more weight, or I did X amount more cardio, or I signed up for something today. I signed up. I did an abs class today, or I did a spin class today. Be better than you were yesterday.
I think that's great. Well, and back to your whole thing, Steve, about just doing something. Like if you're going to watch an hour of TV and you decide that you want to do 100 push-ups, do them in sets of 2, do them in sets of 10, do them one at a time, whatever it is. If you do that and you just keep doing it until you're done, don't quit when you're tired, quit when you're done. And if you have to take half an hour breaks, that's fine. You do whatever you have to do, but you hit that 100 and you will be accomplished. I was listening to some guy and he was talking about how he had a Navy SEAL come stay with him for a while and he was going to try and make his life better, whatever. I don't know all the details, but anyways, the Navy SEAL had him go in there and he's like, all right, do pull-ups. So he does like 10 pull-ups. He's like, all right, do 5 more. So he does 5 more. He goes, okay, we're going to do 100. He goes, well, I just did 15 and I'm pretty much done. He goes, I don't care if you have to do them one at a time. We're going to stay here till you do 100. So the point is that the Navy SEALs, they have what they call the 40% rule. And that is that when your body or your mind tells your body that you need to quit, you still have 40% left in the tank that you're not utilizing. So when you think you're done, try to tap into that 40%. And you will see that you can do so much more than you thought you could do. And it's kind of amazing. But take your time. I mean, it's not a race. I mean, granted, we might sign up for some races and then it's a race. But even then, I mean, you're only competing against yourself.
You're only competing against yourself.
Yeah.
And be like, honestly, do the best that you can do. Like, and I will guarantee you this too. As you're kind of repping out these, as you're kind of just sitting there and you're watching the nightly news and you're just, you know, doing some push-ups or some sit-ups or some squats and you go, oh man, this is hard. I can't even, you know, you set your goal. I'm going to do at least 30 while this whole program is doing. Maybe you like set your goal and you've never even done a single push-up and you go, well, maybe if I can do just one solid one in this 30 minutes, that's great. But I guarantee you, let's say a week from now or a month from now, you keep doing that up and you keep that routine up, right? And then all of a sudden you go, hey, well, maybe this first one isn't bad. Maybe I can do maybe multiple sets of, you know, the first one that I was never able to do. Maybe you go all of a sudden, you know, that 100, maybe I'm going to work towards that 100. but maybe I'll do 3 sets of 10. And all of a sudden, you notice by the first commercial break in that news, right? The timing's automatically built in with these shows, and you're like, oh, well, by the first commercial break, I've already done 30, and I couldn't even do 30 in a whole 30 minutes last time. And so you're always building, and just watch yourself, be impressed with yourself, be impressed with all the gains that you've got. And I guarantee you, it promotes on itself, it grows on itself, and it helps further your confidence. I'm behind you 100%. I really, really am. And I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to hear your stories. I can't wait to see your results, man.
Well, and on that topic, I would say make sure and keep records. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're doing for how long it took you to do something, or how many of something you did, write that down. And a month from now, if you keep doing that every day, you'll see that you're doing more, or you're doing it faster. Or even if you're doing the same workout, like let's say you're going to do a 2-mile run, let's say down to the beach and back, or whatever. I guess you can't run to the beach and back in 2 miles here, but let's just say whatever, you have a 2-mile run. So you just do that. Well, at least, maybe not every day, but at least once a week, just write down how you felt and how long it took you to do. Write down something that tells you what it was like to finish that, or how long you took to finish it, so that you can look back a week, a month, 6 months later, and you can see your improvement. Because sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees, because you're like, oh, I was tired a month ago, I'm still tired now. Well, yeah, but maybe you're finishing it in half the time, or maybe you just feel a lot better. And I think a lot of what we're doing comes down to feeling, because we're going to talk about diet and exercise, because it's going to help you become a more fit and a better person, but also that is going to give you the juice to do better in life, be more productive at your job, be more productive at whatever it is you're trying to do. So even if fitness isn't your goal, I think that diet and fitness are definitely going to help you attain your goals, whatever those goals may be, or help give you the strength and the courage and the confidence to make that change, or to confront that person, to tell them that you need a raise, or that you need a promotion, or that you deserve this or you deserve that. Whatever it may be, these things are only going to make your car function better. We change the oil, we put gas in our car. These things help our car run better. What we're trying to do is give you guys the tools and encourage you, and hopefully you'll encourage us as well, to make those same changes and keep that same maintenance on your body, because all of that, it's all tied together. Your body's going to affect your brain. It's going to affect your happiness, your hormones, your everything. And if you're functioning on full cylinders, then everything in your life is going to be better, and you'll feel better about yourself, and you'll be better, and you'll be more productive. And it's just all about, putting the right things into your body, putting the right things into your workout, and you will get out exactly what you put in. And if that's good stuff in, then you're going to get good stuff out. You're going to get great stuff out. And that's what we're looking for.
And I will say this one thing too, whoever's listening, it's okay to be discouraged. It's okay to fall off that wagon. It's okay to have a bad day. I'd love for you to just kind of chart it down, or write it down and say, oh man, today was a hard workout, or oh, I didn't eat well, or I didn't run, I wasn't as fast, or I wasn't as focused, or I felt like my body couldn't, lift the same amount as what I was able to do yesterday or last week, and I'm just not feeling it. It's okay. Fall off the wagon. Be discouraged. Go ahead and take your lumps. But do not ever defeat yourself. Don't let yourself buy in. Don't let yourself quit on you. Just don't stop moving.
Yeah. Failure sucks.
Keep going.
And when you fail, it hurts. Or when you hurt, it hurts. But pain is only temporary. Pain, or the sting of pain, or the sting of failure, it's only going to last for, Eric
How
Thomas
long it takes you to heal.
Finally says, or famously says, it's only going to last for a minute, or an hour, or a week, or a year. But if you keep trying, eventually you will replace that feeling, that pain, with something else. And that is the goal. Because the minute that you quit, then that pain becomes permanent.
And look back on those journal entries, those times where you said, oh, that was a bad workout. Look back on them and say man, either I'm becoming better, or it's getting worse, but at least you can mark it and say hey, I'm still at this. I'm still working at this. I'm still trying. And that in and of itself is a positive.
Yeah, maybe you do a run today or something, and you're like, God, that sucked as bad as the run 3 months ago. But then you look and you're like, I ran twice as far. And that's the thing. We're always striving to improve. every day, the three of us are striving to improve our lives. And that means improve our eating, improve our workouts, improve our fitness levels. But then also it means improving our life and everything. You have to keep track because nothing happens overnight. Success, greatness doesn't happen overnight with anything. And you have to get, just like Steve said, a little bit better every day. And that is the key. But you got to keep track of what every day looks like so that you can look back a week later, a month later, 6 months later, a year later, and see that you have gotten better. Because I've said it, I've said it before and I'll say it again, like you have to see the results to keep your motivation levels up.
Surprise, surprise, y'all. If you go back and you're like, I just don't look the same as I don't, a year from now, I had so many goals. I thought I was going to look X, Y, and Z way. But if you look back on it, you say, wow, but you've been working out over this year. You've been staying active over this last year. You've been doing it over this last week, over this last month. Not bad, dude. Give yourself a hand, dude. Give yourself the credit. Nothing in this world is easy, and if it was easy, you wouldn't want it. Your body should be the ultimate kind of goal, or the culmination of all of your hard work. And if your hard work just came with a snap of a finger, I don't think you'd appreciate it as much. I don't think you'd honor it as much. I don't think you'd find enough value in it as though you were if you put in the sweat equity, as though you put in the time. And I can appreciate that. And so please, 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 just keep at it. Know that you have a supporter in all of us, and we're definitely there for you. And I will tell you this, as kind of the quote of the day, I'm going to give it to you guys right now, okay? No matter how slow you go, guess what? You're still lapping everyone that's on the couch, okay?
Boom.
Boom.
That's it, guys. JB, you want to weigh in on that?
JB's been on the couch right now. He's just been hanging out on the couch while I've been literally
you guys are
circles.
lapping me. I haven't said a word in like 10 minutes.
I was just making sure you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still here. I would like to expand on the importance of exercise for like fixing mental issues, depression, anxiety.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
I have a buddy.
Let's dive into this.
His dad, his father-in-law had like terrible, crippling social anxiety. It was just like he was around people. He just kind of didn't go around people. And he was kind of depressed and, was a little overweight and all this stuff. And he started going on trail hikes, and eventually started trail running. And he was on medication, some sort of antidepressants. And through that, he started going on walks every day, just going, like you said, he started out, maybe going a mile, and then he would, 2 miles, 3 miles. Eventually he became a trail runner, and it's like his passion now. He has come off of the antidepressants. His anxiety level has dropped drastically. He's like a whole different person. And it was all through this exercise and this, this passion that he started out through his exercise. So I can't stress enough that, I think we all suffer from some sort of, everybody experiences depression. There's people who are extremely clinically depressed, and may need medication. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. But there's people who are teetering on the line. And I think there is really something to be said. Just go take a walk, go get some fresh air, go see how that makes you feel, and if you choose to take that further, go sign up for a race, or, there's, the little sprint triathlons, where you bike 12 miles, you run a 5K and you swim 400 meters, that seems like a lot to some people, and it is. But that's, those things you can kind of get in and start accessing that, and maybe you'll grow a passion out of it. Who knows?
Yeah, or maybe if trails was his thing. I mean, you find a if you're not going to run, you find a harder hike, you find a better hike. I mean, there are so many hikes where there's some rewarding ass nature stuff out there. I mean, you can hike to. You hike to, a peak or a falls or a swimming hole. I mean, just some of the coolest stuff you'll ever see. And I mean, sometimes you got to hike to get there, but it's worth it. And I mean, if you like to be out there with nature, I think hiking is an awesome workout. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's it. And I mean, I think the tie between exercise and diet and
Mental health.
and mental health is huge. And
so
I think we'll
huge.
probably do a depression episode or something along those lines. You know, we have a friend, Brett, who, you know, he helps with some of the graphic design. I'm sure he'll be on here on a few episodes. I'd like to bring him on because, you know, he has depression. He's been on stuff his whole life, and that's his story to tell, not mine. But I know that he was telling Steve and I just the other day that, you know, when he sticks to his keto diet and exercises, he's, you know, just it's a world of difference for him.
He's a lot better person to be around.
Yeah. So, I mean, just for those, you know, for people that have that, I think there's huge, but for all of us, I mean, we all experience a little bit of depression here and there. And I think that exercise can really, I mean, just physically, it just, you know, it helps release endorphins. So, I mean, it makes sense, but it makes you feel accomplished. It makes you feel better. And, I'm not a scientist, so I can't speak to the actual levels of, you know, hormones released and all that stuff, but ultimately it does help. And like I said, everything is tied in. And I think that's pretty much the message of today's episode. So I think we'll wrap it up there. We got Steve's awesome quote, because like you said, no matter how slow you go, you're still lapping the people on the couch. So that's our episode about exercise.
Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Talk
Talk to you soon.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.